Okay, well, I'm back from the dead. I wasn't feeling very good for the last week and was just laid out in bed, home, thanks to my wife being taken care of, which always feels really good. But now back at it. And we wanted to share a report because I'm always analyzing data, and I wanted to share some information that I was reviewing here about what's been going on in the Reno housing market over the last 5 years. And there's three things that we're going to take a look at in this report. We're going to take a look at the median price, what that's done, number of homes sold, what that's also done, and then the median days on market. And then I'll kind of give you my thoughts on what I expect or what I think could potentially happen as we move into the 2020, further into the 2025 year. So having said that, let me do a quick screen share here, load it up, and we will begin with median sales price. So as you see here in this chart, this is brought to you by Redfin. They have some really cool stuff on their website that you can enter any city that you want to analyze in case you're looking at wanting to buy or invest in those areas. I highly recommend their site. It's a good place to get some data. But let me just show you what's been going on here. So if you look at back in 2020, pre-COVID, the median price at that time, which is listed down here, was 385,000. And then as we moved through the COVID era, low interest rates, of course, fueled the demand. And then we saw a peak around right there, about July 2022. And as you see here on the bottom, it says the median price in Reno for all types of housing, single family, manufactured homes, condos, peaked at about 560,000. But then the world changed again. And then you started seeing the median price start going down. About January 2023, we're about 459, 500. Then we peaked up again in August that summer to 550, so pretty close to the 560 peak we saw post-COVID. And then we dropped, and then we peaked again over here in May of 2024, which has been the highest point in the last 5 years, to 579, 500. So massive, massive demand. And right now we're seeing a cool, which is good. Markets can't keep going up forever that sharply. So as we move over to the right, you see how slowly that median price dropped. September 535, then October 551, and then as we move into January 2025, last month, median price evened out at about 515, 500. So this is good news for potential home buyers. You're seeing prices cool, but like you saw in the historical 5 year, it's not going to stay like that. It'll probably heat back up as we go into the summer months and you start seeing more people, well, one, get their tax refunds. Two, we go into the summer months, kids are out of school. It's a more ideal time to sell real estate. You'll see demand pick back up. So as far as home values moving forward, my thoughts here is if interest rates remain at the current levels, and right now they're bouncing around between like 6.8 and like 7.1, and they've just been kind of been flirting in that space. I would dare to say that if they remain at those levels, we're probably not going to see too much of a big price increase unless you saw them come down, which I'm not convinced that we're going to see a big rate drop this year. Maybe at the end of the year, hopefully, but it doesn't seem that way with the current political environment and all the tariff talks. So that's what you've seen over the last 5 years for median price. So now let's talk about homes sold. And this chart's a little bit all over the place. If we look at January 2020, 272 homes sold in that month. And then it jumped up to 502 in July, which is pretty normal summertime. Then here we move over to 2021, January, 290 homes. And then up and down like the market always does. But then look at this. We saw a big dip here, January 2023, of only 166 homes. So we saw a big cooling in housing demand at that moment. And then as the market does, it rose. August 2023 to 312 homes sold, and then a sharp drop again in January. And every year, cyclical, real estate is cyclical as you go into the winter months. less people decide to buy and sell real estate. So not too surprising to see this continuous up and down, up and down. And then if we just fast forward to now, here we are. Pretty similar, January 2025, 202 homes sold. We'll see what February looks like. And again, this is measuring single family, stick built, and manufactured homes. So we'll see what the end of February looks like here in a couple of weeks as we close out the month. But moving forward, we're probably going to see the same repeat. Go into the summer months, demand goes up, and prices do what they tend to do. But I will tell you, if you're a potential home buyer right now, when you see this cooling, because we've seen two different factors, we've seen a cooling of price, less demand. And I'm showing you, we're seeing a cooling in the number of homes sold, so also indicating less demand. Right now is probably a good time to go out there and see what's available, because as demand heats up, your negotiating power starts going down. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you don't have a lot of cash to play with, this could be a good time to consider looking and negotiating to try to see if you can get some closing costs if you're short on cash. And then if we move over here to the median days on market, current is 81. So again, indicating that homes are taking a little bit longer to sell with an 81 average, which is good for potential home buyers. If you're someone that's looking at buying, when you see homes take a little bit longer to sell, that generally sets things up for a seller to consider negotiating either a price reduction or a closing cost credit to help you buy a lower interest rate, or maybe a little bit of both, depending on how long that home has been on the market. If you look back to 2020, similar, there was 86 days on market. If we look at January 2021, 58 days. January 2022, 39 days. Real estate was moving a little bit faster at that moment. If you look at January 2023, 76 days. Let's see, January 2024, 71 days. So right now we're slow, which is good. This is good for potential home buyers. So there you have it. 3 different factors that we analyzed together. One was the median price. You saw what that did, that it's cooling, it's kind of flattening. 2, you saw the number of homes sold, less sales happening at the moment. And 3, you saw median days on market. Homes are taking a little bit longer to sell as of January. So again, I'm not trying to belabor the point, but if you're a potential home buyer, there's 3 different signs that indicate that right now could be a good time to get a much better deal on the home's value, the negotiation, meaning closing cost credits, versus you trying to repeat the same when it peaks in maybe May, June, July, which is typically the busier months. So I hope that information helps. Any questions, happy to help. Have a great weekend.